Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take interesting topics and really go deep, pulling out the key insights for you.
Glad to be here.
Today we're focusing on something really quite special, Psalm 103. Think of this as, well, a guided tour through this incredibly beautiful piece of writing.
That's a great way to put it. It's this amazing psalm, often linked to King David, and we want to really unpack it, see what makes it still speak so powerfully today.
Go beyond just, reading the words.
Exactly. Understand the deep message it holds for all of us.
Okay, let's jump right in then. It starts with this really direct command, doesn't it? Bless the Lord, O my soul.
Yeah.
It feels incredibly personal. What's going on there? David talking to himself.
It's a really powerful way to begin, actually. Imagine maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or, distracted.
Sure, happens all the time.
Right. So David is deliberately calling his entire being, like his mind, his heart, his very essence, calling it all to attention.
Focusing it.
Focusing it right on praise. It's a reminder that praise isn't just something we say. It's a full body, full soul engagement, like a musician carefully tuning every single string before they play.
Right, getting everything aligned. And all that is within me, bless his holy name. That's pretty comprehensive.
It is.
So what's driving this deep personal call to praise?
Well, the driver is gratitude. Simple as that. The very next line urges, do not forget all his benefits.
All his benefits.
Yeah, think about your own life just for a second. Can you feel the air in your lungs right now? Do you appreciate, the warmth that the sun's out or the taste of your breakfast? Little things.
Things we take for granted.
Absolutely. These simple gifts we often just overlook. David's basically saying, hold on, remember, don't forget any of the good things God's done. It's like looking back through old photos and remembering all those moments, the big ones and the small ones.
It's so easy to focus on what's wrong, isn't it? That reminder to, count your blessings, it feels really grounding.
It really does.
We even looked at the story of King Hezekiah as sort of a warning about forgetting.
Right. That's a really potent example. Yeah. Hezekiah, he was spared from this deadly illness, saw this incredible, miraculous victory over enemies.
Huge things.
Massive.
Yeah.
Yet, when visitors came later, what did he do? He showed off his own stuff, his treasures.
Instead of pointing to God.
Exactly. Instead of acknowledging God's hand in it all, it's just a stark reminder, When we forget where the good stuff comes from, we can really lose perspective on what matters, like someone getting a life-saving gift and then acting like they did it all themselves.
Yeah, that's a strong point. Okay, another big motivator for praise right there in the beginning is forgiveness. He forgives all your iniquities. That word all, it really jumps out.
It absolutely does. Imagine carrying this heavy backpack, just stuffed with regrets, mistakes, all that weight. God's forgiveness. It's like someone gently lifting that pack off your shoulders, taking out every single heavy stone, one by one, until you feel completely light, unburdened. All means exactly that every single wrong thing, every misstep, completely wiped clean. It's a totally fresh start, a chance to move forward without that past weighing you down.
That image of the heavy backpack.
Yeah.
Yeah, very relatable. And then the song flows right into healing. Who heals all your diseases? How should we understand that today?
Well, think about times you've been sick or maybe injured. That feeling of relief when your body starts to mend, when the pain eases off and you feel strength coming back.
Yeah.
That's a form of healing.
Yeah.
And while, sure, we often rely on doctors, medicine, which are gifts too,
Of course.
ultimately the power to heal comes from God. Sometimes it's gradual, sometimes it feels really sudden, but every recovery is, in a way, a testament to that divine power to restore us, like a plant that was wilting, slowly getting its color back, reaching for the light again.
So it's maybe broader than just physical sickness.
Could be. Then verse 4 talks about being redeemed from the pit and crowned with steadfast love and mercy. What kind of pit is David talking about there, do you think?
That sounds dramatic.
It can represent so many things, right? A life-threatening situation, maybe a time of really deep depression, a dangerous spot. Think about David's own life story.
Yeah, he had a few close calls.
A few. Facing a lion as a shepherd boy, running for his life from King Saul for years. Each time he was rescued, it was like being literally pulled out of a dark, dangerous hole.
Okay.
And that crown, the steadfast love and mercy, that's this incredible, unfailing love of God that wraps around us even when we're in those dark places. like being wrapped in a warm blanket when you're freezing and scared. Have you ever felt totally lost and then suddenly help or comfort appears out of nowhere?
I think everyone's felt something like that, yeah.
It's a little glimpse of this redemption.
Okay, and then finally, in this first personal section, verse 5 talks about renewal. Compares it to an eagle regaining its youth. That's a pretty vivid image.
It really is. Often when we think about getting older, we picture decline, things slowing down. But this verse talks about being satisfied with good things so that your youth is renewed. Imagine an eagle, this majestic bird known for its power, its sharp eyesight.
Yeah.
The idea of renewal suggests this fresh burst of energy, getting your strength back, finding purpose again. It's like after a period of rest, you feel totally revitalized, ready for new challenges with fresh eyes and energy. It hints at the possibility of, well, ongoing growth and vibrancy all through life.
So from this really personal start, the psalm then kind of zooms out, doesn't it, to national praise in verses 6 to 18. What's the shift here?
Yeah, the lens widens now. It moves from David's own experiences to God's actions for the whole nation of Israel. It kicks off by declaring God's justice for the oppressed.
Okay.
Think about the Exodus story, probably the biggest example. The Israelites enslaved in Egypt crying out.
And God hears them.
God hears them and acts decisively, powerfully to set them free. That's the kind of big picture national deliverance the section is talking about. It reminds us that God isn't just involved in individual lives, he cares deeply about justice, about the well-being of whole communities.
Remembering those huge moments in history where you can really see God's hand at work. And then the psalm starts praising God for who he is, for his character.
Exactly right. Verse 8 gives us this beautiful window into God's heart. The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger and abounding in steadfast love.
4 amazing qualities.
4 incredible qualities, and they aren't just like abstract ideas. They describe how God actually consistently interacts with his people. Think about a time maybe you messed up, expected the worst, and instead you got understanding, maybe forgiveness.
Right, relief.
That feeling, that's a reflection of God's mercy, his grace.
Yeah.
And being slow to anger, that speaks volumes about his incredible patience with us, all our failings.
That's definitely something to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Then verses 9 to 11, they talk about God not staying angry forever and his mercy being as high as the heavens. That's a huge comparison.
It's massive, isn't it? Just try and picture it. Look up at the sky, assuming it's clear. See how vast it is, stretching endlessly in every direction.
Yeah, it's incomprehensible, really.
That's the scale. That's the scale of God's mercy towards those who fear him, who respect him. Our mistakes, our shortcomings, they might feel enormous to us, right?
Definitely.
But God's forgiveness, his loving kindness, it's infinitely bigger, like a tiny cloud completely lost in the vastness of the sky.
That's a really comforting thought. And then verse 12 gives us that other really vivid picture. Our sins being removed as far as the east is from the west.
Yeah, think about a compass for a second. East and west, they're opposites, right? And no matter how far you travel east,
You'll never reach west.
we'll never reach west by going east. They never meet. That's how final God's forgiveness is. It's not just like pushed aside for a bit, it's gone, completely removed, never going to be held against us again.
Wow.
It's like a debt that's been totally canceled, wiped off the books, no record left.
That feeling of being completely clean, that's profound.
Yeah.
Okay, right after that, the psalm points to God's compassion, comparing it to a father's love for his kids.
Picture a loving dad, maybe his kid falls and scrapes their knee.
Yeah.
There's that tenderness, right? That understanding of how small and vulnerable the child is.
Yeah, gentleness.
That's the kind of compassion God has for us. He knows our frame, the psalm says. He remembers that we are dust.
Dust, that's humbling.
It is. He gets our weaknesses, our limits, because he made us. It's like a potter working with clay, knowing exactly how fragile it is, handling it gently.
That image of a compassionate father, that really connects. Okay, and then finally in this national section, verses 15 to 18, they contrast how short human life is with the eternity of God's mercy. That's quite a stark reminder, but important.
It is stark, yeah. Our lives, they're compared to grass. Springs up fast, looks green for a bit, but then the sun hits it, the wind blows, and it's gone.
Or wildflowers. Or wildflowers, yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful one day, vanish the next. Here today, gone tomorrow. But in contrast, God's mercy, his steadfast love, it lasts forever. From everlasting to everlasting for those who fear him, who stay true to his covenant. It's a reminder that, yeah, our time here is short, it's temporary, but God's love, his faithfulness, that's eternal. It encourages you to anchor yourself in something that lasts.
So we've gone from personal to national praise, and now the psalm just explodes into universal praise in the last few verses, 19 to 22. How does it get to that massive scale?
Well, it starts by firmly establishing God's ultimate authority. Verse 19 declares, "The Lord has established his throne in the heavens, and his kingdom rules over all."
Over everything.
Everything. Imagine a king high on his throne, his rule extending absolutely everywhere. God's reign is supreme, no earthly power, no political system, no philosophy, nothing can challenge his ultimate sovereignty. It's a huge perspective shift, reminding us that even when things feel chaotic down here,
There's a higher power in control.
exactly, a higher power firmly in control.
That definitely puts earthly concerns in perspective. And then it calls on the angels to join in.
Yes. It's amazing. Bless the Lord, you his angels, mighty in power, who perform his word, obeying the voice of his command. And then, bless the Lord, all his hosts, his ministers, who do his will.
Hosts and ministers.
Yeah, picture this vast, incredibly powerful army, the angels instantly, willingly carrying out every command from their leader. That's the image. These mighty beings are called to praise God, acknowledging their strength comes from him and their purpose is his will. It's like getting a peek into the incredible worship happening constantly in the heavenly realms.
A truly awe-inspiring picture. And then finally it broadens out even further to include literally all of creation in this massive chorus of praise.
Exactly. Bless the Lord, all his works, in all places of his dominion. Just try to grasp that. Think about the sheer scale of the universe.
Mind-boggling.
From the tiniest insect you can imagine to the most distant galaxy. Everything. Everything God has made, everywhere in his vast kingdom, is called to bless him. It's like this cosmic symphony orchestra with countless diverse instruments, each playing its unique part in one grand, harmonious composition of praise to the Creator.
It's this incredible buildup, this crescendo of adoration that just takes in everything.
Yeah.
And then it comes full circle right back to the beginning, doesn't it?
Beautifully, yes. The very last line echoes the very first. Bless the Lord, O my soul.
Wow.
It brings it all back home. It wonderfully emphasizes that, yeah, we are a part of this immense universal choir of praise, but it all starts and in a sense it all ends with our own personal response. Our individual worship isn't just the starting block, it's a vital note in that cosmic symphony.
So wrapping up our deep dive into Psalm 103, we've really seen this amazing journey of praise, starting super personal, expanding out to the community, the nation, and then finally reaching out to embrace everything, all of creation.
Precisely. It's such a powerful reminder that praise isn't just, a chore or a duty. It's our natural response to who God is and all he's done.
Yeah.
It's fueled by gratitude for his personal blessings in our lives, for his justice and mercy we see in the world, and for his ultimate sovereignty over absolutely everything.
And it really calls each of you listening, doesn't it, to think about your own place in this huge picture of worship.
Absolutely. It kind of leaves us, and hopefully you listening, with this thought to mull over. How will you personally engage with these themes from Psalm 103 today, this week? How can you maybe cultivate a bit more gratitude, embrace the freedom that comes with forgiveness, recognize the healing, the restoration in your life? How can you acknowledge his love, his authority, and in doing all that, how will you add your own unique voice to that unending cosmic praise of God?